Hello everybody and welcome back to my Let's Play of Final Fantasy VI Advance. We're going to be jumping into our first multi-team or party battle here. And the game uses this mechanic quite a few times throughout the story. A couple of them, they're defense battles. We have to defend against a group of enemies trying to get to Terra. And in a couple, you have to actually split up your party to explore a dungeon of some sort. So this is the former. We have our three parties here, filled with mostly generic Moogles, although one very special Moogle named Mog. So we have to move our parties around and defend against these different enemies coming up this little maze. Now the ultimate goal is to take out the leader of all of the enemies. He's at the bottom of the maze. And so you have to choose which of the parties you want to take down to actually take him on. Each of the groups of enemies is made up of this Silver Lobo and this Megalodoth. The Megalodoth is the most dangerous. He's the one who's got the snowstorm attack, and that does do quite a bit of damage to all your party members. Overall, though, not very hard. The strategy comes in balancing your different parties and making sure that they're only taking on groups of enemies that they can handle. Now, because you just got Locke recently, you might think, oh, he's the best group, in the best group to take on the leader, and that's not really the case. Locke is not the greatest fighter. He's got good agility, and he certainly is special because he can steal items. But beyond that, his physical attack is really not too impressive at this point. So actually, the best party to use, in my opinion, is Mog's party. And that's mostly because Mog has a very special ability called Dance. So when I switch over to his party, I'll talk a little bit more about that. Yeah, Locke can't even steal sometimes. That gets really annoying when you're trying to get certain items. Now the reason I put all of my characters in the back row is it does reduce physical damage. It does actually cut your physical damage for regular attacks as well, but especially as the game progresses, you're going to find yourself using a lot more special skills and magic, and those are not affected by being in the back row. So this is Mog's party. Now as I said, Mog has a very special ability called Dance, and so anytime he's in a new terrain, so like, for example, we're in a cave here, as long as he gets one physical attack that successfully hits an enemy, he'll learn a new dance. And then you can use those dances in battle. And a lot of them have really awesome abilities. So because he got in his attack, he should master a new dance. Yep, there it was. So I want to keep his party in pretty much top shape for the boss battle. So let's use my other Moogle party here to finish up these last couple of groups. You know the drill. Physical attacks for the win. And we'll mop up that last group here. I'm getting really lucky with all these preemptives. They let me attack with all my party members before the enemy gets to move. Alright, so that's it. Just the leader left. So I'm coming for you, leader. Banzai! So all you gotta do is pick Dance when you're in battle with Mog. It doesn't always work. Sometimes he stumbles, in which case you lose a turn. But in this case it worked, and he used a snare attack. I think for his Twilight Requiem he has a couple different attacks. The snare, which you just saw. He also has a Will of the Wisps, which is a fire attack. I think he also has a Poison Frog attack, which does a lot of physical damage, and he also has a Caven attack, which I think does percentage damage, so like 80 or 90% of maximum hit points for the enemy. So here it is. My guess is this isn't going to do much damage because we've already done quite a bit to him. So, not too tough. Pretty easy with Mog and the party. And that's it. That's our first multi-party battle. Thank you, Moogles. Locke concurs. Now, Locke's pretty strong, seemingly, because he can carry Terra all by himself. Ooh, a secret entrance. Welcome back to the Conscious. Amnesia. Always makes me think of all my circuits in Futurama. Locke seems pretty invested in Terra and the fact that she has amnesia. I wonder why. So we're out. And if you happen to forget where to go, you can try to re-enter Narshe. Avoid this guard. And you get a little indicator of where the next location is, Figaro. Before we head that way, let's head over to this building, which is actually a training center. So you're going to have a bunch of NPCs in here that tell you a lot of tips and advice about different tactics and things you can do in the game. It's split into 3 different rooms, a beginner, an intermediate, and an advanced room. Each room has a treasure chest, and the different tips you can get include that sometimes items are in things like pots. And also, occasionally treasure chests have enemies in them. Now, in most cases when that happens, you still get an item of some sort for beating the enemy, so it's still worthwhile. Now, of course, feel free to talk to all of these different NPCs, get their insight and wisdom. Like I said, I pretty much know much of what they say, so I don't really need to do that at this point. Hey, get out of the... Sometimes they get stuck in front of you and keep moving to match you. It gets annoying. This little bucket up here restores your health and MP and status. And now we're heading out to the world map. This is something some of the later Final Fantasies don't have. And you'll notice there is different terrain on the world map. So right now we're on what's called grasslands. And depending on the terrain you're in, you'll have a different background in your fights, and you'll also fight different enemies. These guys are pretty easy. Now there's a forest coming up here, and if we do get attacked, that'll be a different background and group of enemies. We didn't. But there's also this desert, which actually has the strongest enemies in the area. So let's torch them. Pretty strong. But this should do it. Boom. And this is Figaro Castle. So let's head on in. How dare you stop me? Let me through. So there's a lot going on in this castle, but right now much of it is blocked off. They're pretty much sending you directly to the throne room to talk to the king. But before we do that, let's spend a little time in these side rooms. You're going to find a couple chests in here with some different items and also some merchants. So this merchant sells a lot of different items, MP, HP recovery, status recovery, etc. I'm pretty comfortable with what I got at this point. And the merchant on the other side has tools, which are a special item that a character we're going to get really soon uses. I'm going to buy the noise blaster, which confuses enemies when you use it. And there's one more item up here to the left. Alright. This castle's officially looted. So let's go through this door. Sometimes with auto dash you get stuck and overshoot things. That is rude. So this is our next character, Edgar, or Edgar. And Edgar is the character that I most identify with as a kid. And that's for two reasons. One, he's got blonde hair. And two, he's pretty much a hopeless romantic and flirt. Which is quite a good description of myself through much of my life. Might be onto something there, Terra. Oh, Edgar, you are shameless. Terra's blink when she doesn't know how to respond. Guess it is. Now they changed her little dialogue here. Normal girls should have felt something. I think in the original she said, but I'm hardly normal. So that's going to wrap up this time. We'll continue to explore the castle in our next playthrough. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.